So the outcome we want from human performance is behaviour change. We should be eating better, training better, recovering better, coping with stress better, to enhance performance of individuals and then ultimately teams to be able to fight and defeat our adversaries. We need to move away from the concept that human performance is something you go to a centre and do. It's really about how we deliver training, it's about how we absorb and process information, it's about how we react to stresses and adapt both physically and mentally. For all members of Army, regardless of rank, role, or even health status. So to be able to improve our performance, we need to measure it, and therefore we need to understand baselines. So the Chief wants us to be automating processes like data collection so we can spend more time doing the important bits of our jobs. But because the human is not a piece of machinery that comes with a manual that operates the same every time, like a helicopter or a weapon, it's more like an ecosystem. If you change one variable, there's an effect elsewhere that is unpredictable. So that makes any analytics or automated processes very hard to validate. And science tells us that there's no known algorithms currently, for example, that can accurately predict, who in a sporting team will get injured, let alone a population like the military that doesn't have a set rules or a defined playing field. Another example comes from the P3R study, or the prospective physical performance and resilience study, and I'm hoping that there's potentially some people in this room that might be participants in that study. It started in 2019 at Kapuka, and it's tracking people into the trained force. So I'm really fortunate to work with Dr. Jay Strain from DSTG, who's been with Defence well over a decade and is currently running this project. It's ongoing, longitudinal data collection, and it's a really well-designed study looking at the suitability and survivability of members in various trades in Army, from recruit through to the trained force. And I use this as an example of research that has benefited from Army leaning in and championing its work, and we have actually been able to change processes on the back of that. So at the inception of the study, we had a single entry test for all recruits, regardless of role or trade. And now, due to recruitment pressures, we're trialling a reduced physical entry test for the combat support segments. And we were able to use data from the P3R to set the standards that would reduce risk of increasing injury rates. I will emphasise, though, that we haven't reduced entry standards into the trained force. So what we've done is adjusted the training pipeline to ensure that those people coming in under those reduced standards have the time to physiologically adapt to meet those set requirements for service, which haven't changed. So COVID has certainly wreaked some havoc on this data collection, particularly for the IET data collection, but we have had some useful insights, and it has changed the way that we train and do business. On performance nutrition, which is another low-hanging fruit, pun intended. If you're drinking multiple cans of Mothers a day and eating fried food from the fat truck or Afghans on a regular basis, there's not really much point in honing those, 1 to 5% of, increased strength that some of the technology that's out there is supposed to enhance. But by taking findings of nutritional research and tailoring policy, for example, to ensure mess contractors are actually delivering and providing the right macro and micronutrients, and also providing nutritional education to everyone, that's the non-sexy HP stuff that gives us our biggest bang for buck. And that type of work is occurring in 4Com HP. Hopefully the theme of just be brilliant at the basics has come through. Sleep, eat, train, recover in appropriate doses. That's what the science tells us. On an individual level, the seemingly small stuff is going to make the biggest difference and enable teams to operate better. So let's support the good science and ditch the bro science.